With this video, I will show you how information moves from idea to that of publication. I will also talk about different searching techniques used with databases. If we go to the CHEM 306A online guide, and here we can click on the Articles tab. Then I'll click on the Flow of Scientific Information slide. And this slide shows you how information moves from idea to that of publication. When most researchers think of an idea, the first thing they do is usually jot it down somewhere. It could be on a piece of paper or on a computer. They then sometimes talk to their colleagues or buddies about the idea over social networking tools or coffee. Now sometimes the colleagues or the researcher may have a lab, so they may just want to go to the lab and just try it out to see if it works. And this kind of process here is sometimes referred to the invisible college, because only a few select people are aware of the idea. Eventually, the researcher will need to file for grant funding because they need money to carry out the idea. They need money for chemicals, glassware, hiring students, and so forth. Once they attain the funding, they then can go back to the lab and start experimenting. The results from the idea are often presented at conferences and different presentations. Sooner or later, the researcher will need to write up the idea in the form of the manuscript. The manuscript will contain the abstract, introduction, the experimental section, results, discussion, conclusion, and references. Once the manuscript is written up, the researcher is going to want to publish the actual idea in the form of an article. And they want to publish it so they can share the information with the world, as well as get the rewards and awards from the idea. In order to publish it, the manuscript will need to go through a peer review process. The way the peer review process works is that the manuscript is sent to the editor of a journal. The editor of the journal then looks over the manuscript and the information and determines whether it's a good fit for the journal. If it's a good fit, the editor of the journal will then send the manuscript out to different reviewers. The reviewers are experts in the field of that information. The reviewers then will look over the manuscript and then give feedback to the editor, telling them what they think of it. They can say, "It's a brilliant piece of work and worthy of publication in this journal." Or they can say, "There are so many mistakes there, I don't believe any of it, do not publish this." Or they can say, "Pretty good, just make changes." So the editor then decides whether or not to publish the article in their journal. And the articles are sometimes referred to as a primary source in the scientific literature. The information from the article is sometimes mentioned or cited in review papers or books, and these types of documents are sometimes referred to as secondary sources. A review paper is an overview or summary of a topic area, so it contains all information about a certain topic area. It's essentially a compilation of all articles and other document types that are relevant to that topic. I often say to students, if you're looking for some good background information about a topic, it's always a good idea to have a look at a few review papers, because they cover everything that's been written about that topic area. But you want to be careful, because if a review paper has been published, say in 1990, that information only goes up to that year. So it's always a good idea to get some current review papers. So articles will generally have an experimental section, which is a good indicator that it is indeed an article. A review paper will not have an experimental section. It's just an overview of everything that's been written about that topic. Finally, sometimes information from the idea is mentioned in an encyclopedia, a dictionary, or textbook, generally as a small paragraph. And this is sometimes referred to as a text resource. So these are different examples of text resources. Now, with all this information in different document types, students often are required to search databases and retrieve some documents which are relevant to their topics. If I go back, the way you research information or search for information is through academic databases. The way most academic databases work when you're searching for information is through the use of Boolean operators. If I click on this slide, this slide shows you how these operators work. There are three main types of Boolean operators: and, or, not. And you use these operators to broaden or narrow a search. For instance, with the AND operator, if you place the AND operator between two keywords like coronavirus and vaccine, the database will retrieve all documents that contain those two keywords. And here you're narrowing a search. On the other hand, with the OR operator, you use that to broaden a search. And it's often used with synonyms. These are similar keywords, so you don't miss out anything in the literature. So coronavirus or COVID-19 instructs the database to search and retrieve all documents that have either one of these keywords, or both of those keywords. Then you have the NOT operator. With the NOT operator, you use to exclude keywords. So this narrows the search. So here you will be retrieving coronavirus, but not vaccine, and not coronavirus and vaccine. Okay, so if I go back, so at the university here, we have many academic databases that contain peer-reviewed information. And you want to look through an academic database because you know that information has gone through a peer review process and it's good quality, credible information. Resources like Google or Wikipedia, that information there may not have gone through a peer review process and may not contain a lot of peer-reviewed articles. For instance, with Wikipedia, the information there can be changed by anybody. However, at the end of the pages of Wikipedia, you often get some good quality peer-reviewed information. Now here I've selected two databases, SciFinder and Scopus. SciFinder is a chemistry or chemical information database. It's very subject specific. It's often used with chemistry students. Scopus is a universal database. So it can be used with all disciplines, with the sciences, social sciences, and arts and humanities. Okay, so that's the end of this video. Thank you for listening.